You're listening to Experience This, a show about the emerging experience economy with your host, Tom Young.
Hey everybody, this is Tom Young. Let's go around the room.
Hey, this is Sean.
And it's Karen.
Hey, thanks guys. Hey, we're doing another show today. We're going to talk about the impact of technology in terms of improving our senses, and specifically we're going to talk about virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality, AR. Mm-hmm. Another term that's used is mixed reality, which which is another form of augmented reality. But we're going to talk about some of the things that are happening today and think about where we see enhancements to experiences coming as a result of these technologies.
Yeah.
So we've been experimenting. We have an HTC Vive virtual reality setup. We've got the Oculus. We're playing around with that. We've done with things with the HoloLens. We've been following Magic Leap down in Florida, the big company that got a $500 million of investment with some big Hollywood outfits around in creating augmented reality. We've looked at construction company stuff where they've done overlays, Google Glass kind of stuff, where Vuzix and things like that, where they've helped field engineers to see what's happening, all the way out to looking at cell phones. We did some work with Wipro where they put the cell phone up and they use the camera to say, look at a copier, and they could scan the copier real time, and an engineer somewhere else could annotate, open this door, and it could save a service call. You could just do it remotely. If you used Yelp on your iPhone or your Android, you could go find there's a subsection in there called Monocle, and it will hold up if you happen to be in a big city. You hold it up, and it looks at the camera, and it does an overlay of where the places are with the ratings.
Wow, it's very cool.
So it already exists out there, and
has it been around for a while? And
Monocle?
Just the AR VR technology, and
it's been around for a while, but the technology is improving rapidly. I mean, it was the visuals were being very, very crude. Now, if you look at the Oculus, I'm using the Oculus Quest. So TJ Bart and I all have the platform, and we play it. It's about a $500 platform. You couldn't get that 3 or 4 years ago. It'd been thousands of dollars.
Right. I was just to say that's the biggest burden. It requires, or at least in the past, required pretty expensive technology. So it's not like everyone on the street had it.
So for $500, I would tell you that for early adopters, it's probably worth the plunge, meaning that it's got some pretty cool stuff. Now, Oculus is pretty Spartan in terms of content, but that's rapidly changing. One of the interesting applications they have on the Oculus is Netflix.
Wow.
And so I've got big screens everywhere here, so I don't really need that. But if you happen to live in, say, a small place or a dormitory, or where you live in your living situation, you have a TV in your living room.
Yeah.
It's not a big TV.
No.
They upgraded recently.
We did. Yeah. We did.
Yeah, it looked like it was really small, like 10 inches.
Right.
I don't know what it was, but it was. I have an 82 out here in the thing, but it was so. But you have but it's one big TV for 4 of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have one in your bedroom?
No.
Okay, so if you want to watch something that somebody else wants and just want to be alone and veg out, what this Oculus allows you to do is you could sit in your bedroom. Mm-hmm. All you need is a chair. And you put the headset on, and you can either use headphones or they have audio built in. And you go into the Netflix app, and it immerses you into this mountain lodge, and you're sitting in a living room. All around you, you turn your head, you can look around, and in front of you is a 10-foot screen, and your Netflix account is linked to that.
Wow.
And it streams your Netflix account to this virtual room, and it's in HD.
Wow.
So you can watch anything you want. Now, I've watched some shows. Eventually, the headset bothers you after like an hour or so. You're like, I want this off. But if the alternative is, I got to go watch, some crazy reality show with a bunch of people, I want to just be alone and watch. I want to binge watch my show or whatever that may be. It's a great application for that. But we're just scratching the surface on the applications that are there.
Right. I remember
Yeah.
you trying it with your Oculus, and the problems that I had with it are gonna be fixed. Like the resolution, you might say, oh, I mean, I could probably be nice on a 4K. They're good. The resolution is going to improve slowly over time.
Not slowly.
Yeah, probably
Rapidly.
Yeah, you're right.
And the next generation of headsets are shrinking rapidly. So if you look at like the HTC Vive, we have to set up tripods, big tripods like the 7-footers, and hold the sensors so that they can see where your hands are with the controls.
Right.
And the headset is tethered to a smoking ass gaming computer.
Yeah.
So the whole setup for the HTC Vive is $3,000.
Right, with the laptop.
With the laptop, maybe more, maybe $3,500. Plus, you need to have a 12 by 12
space,
empty space.
Mm.
Okay,
It's quite a big space. It's kind of a big commitment.
Well, that's a
with
big
gear
commitment
and
cost-wise.
Gear, yeah.
So we have it. We did some work with clients with it, so it's a big issue. And they have some pretty cool stuff. If you go on the Google Earth, the ability to do the Superman view and fly around. And if you take 5 minutes to learn how to use the controls, I've flown around Paris and New York City and done some really wild things.
Do you still have a desire to go to those places physically?
Probably more of a desire. But it's interesting just to explore places. Some of the Google Earth is rendered in 3D. Some of it's still 2D. But the 3D places really give you a sense of what it's like to be there.
Yeah.
And you can drop into the street view and walk. And it's a very cool thing. I spent hours on it, just exploring different places. But within 2 years, the Oculus Quest comes out, and it's $500. It doesn't require a PC or a laptop.
Wow.
Just your phone.
And it's not tethered. It has cameras, 4 cameras and it looks at the room that you're in, and you virtually lay out whatever space you have, and it makes use of that space.
So what does that mean, like in this studio?
So I got to find a flat space. Like there's no room in here, so I would do what's called stationary mode. It would just say sit still, and you will not be able to move around physically in this world. But I did it out in our lab out here, outside the studio here. We have a lot of empty space. I maxed out this space, and I was in this geodesic dome in the mountains, and I was able to walk around, 15 or 20 feet in all directions to walk around.
Wow.
And interact with the environment and see things. And it was very immersive. And so what we were trying to do is to stream what you see up on the screen. So that's where we're having some issues with the technology. But you can start to see how you can really create some immersive experiences this way. And that's why we're experimenting with this 360 camera from our Alan Watts cam, is to say, can we use this technology to create social immersions at places like a restaurant? Because that's a small camera.
Yeah.
I can bring that anywhere. The sound quality's not that great. That'll improve. For the videos that we're going to post out of here, we'll take the sound from the sound system and merge it to the video, so it'll be very nice. But anyway, there's those problems those are technical problems that'll get solved.
Exactly.
But the issue is, what do you guys think the issues are going to be around that? Because I go back to even some primitive versions of augmented reality. So we tend to think of augmented reality as a visual thing, but it doesn't have to be. It could be sound or smell.
Yep.
So I used to read books quite a bit, like novels, and I used to play this ocean surf sound. So I would put headphones on and listen to this ocean surf, and it was like a 1-hour loop. And I was not distracted by the environment. My visual acuity was focused on the pages, the sound was there, and I was immersed in the book. And it was a relaxed, and you can listen to different things, whatever works for you. But when I was doing that, I was like saying, wow, this is really great. And then there used to be this app on the iPhone, and it was called Ambience. And it had all these different sound effects. Now, for whatever reason, it discontinued it, but it was a great app. I used it. And I created these different sound mixes. So one that I created was called the dining car sound mix. And what it was a loop of a train
Okay.
going down the track. So like the soft sound of that, and you can set the mix level.
Yeah.
And a dining room. And it mixed it together, so it felt like I was sitting on a dining car on a railroad. So I imagine I was riding through Europe.
Yeah. The Orient or
Right, so I'm just listening on
Yeah, yeah.
headphones. I could have a glass of wine with me, and I'm reading a book, and it feels like it gave me the sense of it was a very relaxing way to read. And anyway, very interesting stuff. So I reached out to a professor in the UK, and I said, because I read that they were experimenting with creating artificial smells, because smell really triggers a lot in your brain. So
Yeah.
what if I could then incorporate smell, sound, and now with the technology, I can put some visual acuity, some very interesting stuff.
You know what this kind of reminds me of? A slightly different experience, but Soarin'. When we went to
Yeah, in California, at Epcot.
Yeah. Because it was a lot of senses. I think they had mists of cold air and the smell of lilacs.
Yeah.
And it actually really brings you to that place that
Yeah.
you're flying over.
When you go over the orange groves, they say
Yeah.
orange, yeah.
Yeah, that was like that. So I can imagine.
and the motion. So
Yes.
you're flying and you actually feel the glide.
Yeah.
So, and that's one of my favorite rides, because it's very relaxing and it's very immersive, and very well done.
Yeah. And so talking about some of the applications and like some of the use cases that we've seen,
Right.
the concept of going to the mountains. So in the yoga and the meditation world, it's been, like the epitome is to be in the Himalayas, hypothetically. But I mean, a lot of people don't actually have the resources to just pick up and do that.
Or the time, yeah.
Or the time. And so some of the early uses for VR is to kind of transport you, to this yogic place where you can sit and do the meditation and the
with
yoga
the teacher
stuff.
present as well.
Yeah, right. So you've got like a teacher present to guide you through the meditation. You've got, you can, and now if you've combined that with the sounds and like the visuals, you actually can be transported for a bit, which is like awesome, because otherwise you're, a lot of people that have a meditation practice, one of the biggest complaints is I just can't seem to break away from the environment that I'm actually in. So that was one of the use cases I saw where I was like, wow, that's actually great.
I don't want to fall into the trap of a hammer looking for a nail, because I'm really trying to think what problem can we solve, or what opportunity can we create that uses the technology versus leading with that technology.
Right.
I would tell you, playing around with it, I can see a lot of cool applications, but and also in order for it to be experienced by more people, you have to make it accessible widely, as opposed to I'm going to invest several $1,000s in an untested platform or one I'm unfamiliar with that's going to be obsolete in 18 months. So you really have to be into it to spend the kind of money. But the price points are coming down on these things. You're going to be able to do some interesting things. I would encourage people when they read is to listen to sound effects.
Yeah.
If you have a big screen TV, go on YouTube and match the sound effect to a 4K drone that ties to that sound, that thing. So as ocean waves have, maybe a video that matches the sound wave, and so you can sit there. So you like to read on the beach, now you can sit in a chair right in front of your TV with the sound, and maybe have a cocktail there, and you can start to just immerse yourself in different things. It could be maybe it's a mountain scene and you hear a babbling brook, or maybe it's snow and you could sit out in the cold a little bit. You could just do some interesting things to try to drive these immersive experiences to do things. And anyway, we're trying to figure this out, because I think it's going to be a big market in the future. I think you're going to see a lot of interesting stuff here.
So even something that go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
So even something you don't even really think about, but like a problem for a lot of in the marketing world is like, how do I, really bring this brand out and have it connect with people? So this is where even like these, marketing groups are trying to use AR, VR to bring their brand to people with more senses. So it's more of a, it's more of a revealing kind of experience. So like this is with the Guinness we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like now it's not just tasting a beer, right? It's like tasting a beer while they are having you hear what they want you to hear and see what they want you to see.
So Guinness did some research where they said if you are seeing certain things, smelling certain things, hearing certain things, it actually changes your sensory perception of the taste of the beer.
Right.
Right?
Yep.
So we have the article up on the screen up here.
Yeah, I was in this Ad Age. So I think what they were really trying to drive at was to get people, they want to experience the shape, color, sounds that they said guaranteed to make into the Guinness draft.
And this is important, just taste significantly better. Yeah.
Yeah. So they thought if they added those other elements that you would feel like, oh wow, this tastes exponentially better.
So if you talk to people who travel, they'll say that the Guinness tastes better in Ireland than it tastes here. It's the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But
they
It's
swear
slightly
by it.
fresher.
See?
Yeah.
You're even falling into the trap. Atomically, it's identical.
Well, it's the same thing as, do you think
Yeah.
pasta in Italy tastes exponentially better than pasta in the U.S.?
I think the perception is there. I think it's identical. I think the best Italian food is in
You're going to
New
have a
York
lot of
City.
people disagreeing with you on this
course they are,
podcast.
I checked on I'mAlwaysRight.com and it says I'm right. So I had, like when I traveled to Italy, I went and I had spaghetti carbonara everywhere I went just to see the different varieties within Italy. And it was very good everywhere. The best place I ever got it was in New York. The second place, the best place was in Somerville, New Jersey. And it has a lot to just do with the culinary arts go where the money is. So Las Vegas and New York are probably the two top places, along with Japan, where you see really top food. Now the Frenchies will say, well, it's Paris and stuff like that. But let's look at where the Michelin star restaurants are. They're in places where the money is. But I think a lot of what people are getting at is it doesn't matter whether what I'm saying is true scientifically. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that it's the same thing.
Yeah.
What you're really getting at is that the taste of something is better when you add the other senses to it, like being somewhere. If you're traveling in Ireland and you're not from there, you're probably in a social context. You're on vacation.
Exactly.
You're in a place that's you're drinking it in an Irish pub.
Have you been to Guinness Factory?
Yeah.
So at the top room?
Yeah. The
I forgot
tasting room.
the tasting room. There's like a name for it, I think. But when you're there, this is like a 360 panorama view of all of Dublin.
Yeah.
And they're pouring it fresh out for you. You just went through the entire museum seeing all this Guinness stuff. They're prepping you for this.
I would tell you that I certainly enjoyed Guinness more in Ireland than I do here. But to me, I would just say it was more an experiential thing than a technical thing.
Maybe that's a good way to differentiate it. You enjoy it more there, but it tastes the same in both places.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. The enjoyment one is the one that matters.
Exactly.
So same would be true like with limoncello.
Yeah.
Like it's more fun, more enjoyable in Italy.
In Italy, yeah.
But you can have it in your basement if you want. Just sit and drink it. If and it's probably the exact same thing. It's just a chemical. You're drinking it. So, but these so it goes back to how can we now create some of those same things without the expense and the I'll call it the analog obstacles of having to travel to Italy to experience pasta or limoncello, or go to Ireland and experience Guinness draft. The same would be true. Like again, like I went to Germany and did Wiener Schnitzel everywhere, right? And then Wiener Schnitzel was really Austrian, but I had it everywhere. And the best place I had it was in Beverly Hills at Spago. And the guy who made it was Wolfgang Puck. I went to his restaurant and I ordered it, and it was really good. And he came out from the kitchen and was walking the room, and he came over and said, "Hey, what's going on?" I said, "Oh, this is the best I ever had. I had it everywhere." He goes, "He just gave it up." What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And it had everything to do with just the best ingredients and the hyper focus on quality at some of these high end restaurants. But what's happening with the technology? We're moving to a realm where we can start to bring those things that required an analog component I had
Yeah.
to go somewhere and do something, and now I can start to bring technology and just enhance what we have. It's not a replacement. It's just an enhancement to our baseline.
Plus, you have the opportunity to just try to do different things that you might find interesting, right? Like you
Yeah.
like reading by maybe a beach, but maybe reading in like a bar setting or something, or reading in like a setting I haven't tried before is now just easier to do because I can just do it.
Yeah. No,
I don't have to go to a bar and be that guy
I need
reading.
to go find that ambience, the replacement because I use that a lot to read and relax, and it's a way to avoid the distraction of just the noise of life. And we were TJ and I were discussing the other day about the notion of books are really becoming old school in terms of people sitting down and turning pages and reading to a book when there's so many more immersive ways. But the storytelling depth and richness has not been brought to the new platforms yet because people are taking the old style and bringing it to the new. I think, we looked at even like...
you do see it a little bit with like TV shows, right?
Well, Bandersnatch was really cutting the edge of storytelling.
Yeah.
Right, on Black Mirror.
Right.
But I think we're just still at the very early stages of people thinking, oh, it's a new platform. How do I use it? Versus just porting my old way into this new platform. It's kind of, it's okay. But we're going to start to create new things you could only do in these new AR, VR, mixed reality platforms. But just think about the ability for now to use technology to enhance your senses and improve your experience of your baseline things that you're doing, whether it be eating, drinking, or reading.
Right.
I think socializing is where I'm really focused on, try to come up with some new applications, and hopefully in the next couple months we'll have some ideas around that.
Awesome.
Great. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Karen, I think you were supposed to say that.
Yeah, thanks. I'll take it from here.
All right. Well, we got to do this is the new Outcast.
Oh, the
Is it called-
outro. The outro.
I think Outcast is a new word. All
Okay.
right. Outro. We're doing a new outro. We got to cover a few things.
All right.
One is what? Subscription.
Do you subscribe through?
We want people to subscribe to this, not just listen to it occasionally.
Okay, yeah. Check
The
us out.
second thing is nothing's better than what? A 5-star rating.
Always 5 stars.
Got to give us the 5 stars because we get better search outcomes. Mm-hmm. And the last thing is comments.
We need those.
Yeah,
we need your feedback.
We want to know what people are thinking. So you can check us out. The best way to do it, if you're not sure, some people don't know how to do it. Go to our website. You can check it out. We'll have a full set of instructions. So whatever app you're using. Most people use, what do you use, Karen?
I use Spotify.
You do?
Yeah.
So we have Spotify, we have iTunes, YouTube. There's a whole bunch of, whatever you use, we have it. And if we don't have it, let us know, and we'll try to figure out how to get it.
We can send you a paper-based instruction.
Actually, we do have paper-based instructions, even though that's a fun inside joke to our team. So anyway,
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, and check us out in our next shows.
Thanks. See ya.